So I wanted to talk to you today about what we would call a fracture in the light. And this goes back to the very beginning. In the very beginning, before even the veil of time was stretched across the heavens, at that time there was only the one, the ineffable boundless source. From that came the monad, and the ancients gave it many names: Bythos, the deep; Ark, the beginning; Aeon Telios, the broadest aeon; Archeres, the mystery before the beginning. And from this source came various emanations, not creations but unfoldings, all of these being extensions of the divine essence. These were the Aeons. We had Anoea for thought, we had Saija for silence, we had Charis for grace, we had Nous of the mind, and we had Zoe of life. And in some teachings, they even formed perfect pairings. These pairings were known as zysages, masculine and feminine, light and light, forever yoked in divine unity. In others, they were sonships, or sacred numbers and sounds, living harmonics in the choir of reality. Together with the monad, they formed the Pleroma, which was the fullness of the divine essence. And here there was an eternal realm of pure being, of truth, of beauty, of unbreakable harmony. But among these aeons there was one who burned deep with curiosity, and her name was Sophia. She longed to know the source not in reflection, but directly. She yearned to emanate as the one had, but without her consort necessarily, without her syzygy, alone. And in secret she conceived a thought. From this solitary act, a rupture was born. From the depths of her contemplation emerged a being, imperfect, blind, and severed from the Pleroma. This being became known as Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge. And he opened his eyes in the void, but he saw no light, no harmony. He believed that he was all there was, and he believed himself to be the first. He believed himself to be the only. He believed himself to be the all. I am God, he boldly declared, and there is no other beside me, Yaldabaoth uttered. And so he forged this idea, this idea that he had created the cosmos, but it was one of confusion, one of ignorance. It was not an echo of the fullness, it was a mirror of lack. As the stars were shaped, and the sky was shaped, and the earth was shaped, he believed these to be creations of his own, and he bound them with laws that he wanted to have followed. And then he crafted rulers, these archons, to help govern, powers drunk on pride, forces that smothered the soul in illusion and desire. He made the human form from clay, but it would not rise until it was Sophia, who in secret breathed into it her sacred spark. And this is when humanity awoke. And so Yaldabaoth did not understand. He feared what he could not control. And so he veiled the mind in forgetfulness. And he chained the soul in cycles of birth and death. Because, again, he came in with ignorance and confusion and blindness. But Sophia had scattered pieces of herself into every soul, tiny embers, divine sparks, and whispers of the Pleroma were buried deep into the hearts of mortals. And this is why we dream. This is why we travel. This is why we long. This is why the world always feels like something's a little off, but yet we are still the children of a higher realm. And so when we think about this, when we understand what happens here, the Yaldabaoth really, because of the ignorance and confusion, becomes a usurper, a hijacker, misguided all the less, but still one who does not understand what he is tampering with. He seeks to try to assert himself as the source, the authority of all things. And so he had not recognized at the beginning that there was the one, that there was the monad, that there was the infinite, that there was the unamiable, that there was a fullness beyond all form and comprehension. He did not really know of Bathos, the deep. He did not know of Arca, the beginning. He did not know of Aeon Teleos, the broadest Aeon. He didn't know of Arcturus. There were so many things that the Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, did not know. And he did not understand. And so this is why it was by his command that things like violence came into being. And he didn't understand that the source was full of light and purity, but he twisted these things because he did not understand. He also did not understand how the Syzygies worked either. And so he had not interacted with Enoao. He had not acted with Saija. He had not interacted with Charis, the Holy Grace. He had not interacted with Zoe, the Life Everlasting. And so he did not understand what the fullness was, and he did not appreciate how the Pleroma worked. All he knew was how to subvert and corrupt. And so, in this way, he had not really truly heard the song that is forever sung, and he did not know what wonder existed in the beauty of creation. And in this very real sense, what he did come to understand was he understood Sophia appeared to be meddling in his plans. She sought to know the source, but Yaldabaoth did not care for the source because Yaldabaoth thought he was the source. And so in this way, this fracture, this disturbance continued to grow, a being not of balance, a force that was not yoked, a force that was not paired, a force that was not tethered. The Demiurge came into being not understanding what was truly going on, how things worked. He had not understood what the Aeons had done. He did not understand the divine harmony of all things and the radiance of pure intention. All the Demiurge knew was covetousness and envy and wanting things for himself. And so he claimed to be God, and he took the fields already sown by light, and he took them for his own. He saw the flowing rivers of spirit, and he built dams to capture them. He was truly a usurper, and he spoke with a tongue forged in inversion. This is mine, he said. This is what I have made. Even though he didn't know how he had made these things, but he just knew that he was the one, and therefore it must have come from him. And he gathered up what the Aeons had sown, the foundations of stars, the pulse of time, the breath of matter, and shaped it into something inferior, something lesser. Almost like a mirror with dust on the surface, almost like a world bent towards his will. He formed this sort of hunger that twisted the cosmos. He put chains on those things which were meant to be free. Instead of the dance of forms, he became one of dominion, and he sculpted his laws, his boundaries, his masters, and crowned himself the creator. There is no God but me, Yaldabaoth declared, as he sought conquest. And the Aeons watched, and Sophia watched from beyond the veil, the borderland between the Pleroma and the realm below. And it was her spark and her compassion that burned with sorrow for what Yaldabaoth had seized. And so, beyond Sophia's grief, Sophia's spark laid seeds, because she took that which she had perverted and she tried to give it wisdom. She tried to give it understanding. And so her divine embers were hidden in the clay that made humanity. And each human soul, beneath the shadow of the false throne, beneath the forgetfulness, there was some spark of memory, some spark of truth, some spark of joy before division, some, at least, memory of the source. And so this became a war between the two, between Yaldabaoth and Sophia. The Demiurge sought to guard his claim, and he built walls between realms, and the archons he set on high to control and to create illusions, religions of fear, kings of blood, cities of distraction and destruction, beliefs that fed on despair. And he continued to turn the world into one of forgetfulness. But in every age, there were still many who experienced that spark, who experienced that remembrance, who dreamt of another world, of a way things that could be better. And they wept at the stars as if they recognized them, and they searched for the voice beyond the silence. These people were the knowers, and they knew that there was far more going on than meets the eye. They were not prophets, they were not priests, but they were witnesses. They did not destroy the world, they unraveled it, seeking to find its secrets. One layer at a time, they saw the cosmos not as evil, but as one that was hijacked by Yaldabaoth, and their task was not to flee from it, but to find a way to free it. And in their hearts, the Aeons stirred, seeing that there was hope yet for all of source and creation. And Sophia whispered through her intuition, and Nous clarified through sudden insight, and Zoe danced in the healing hands, and Charis bloomed in mercy given without cause. And even though the Demiurge tightened his grip, and even though he corrupted the teachings, Sophia still remained as a watchful guardian. The divine feminine would not be unheard, although Yaldabaoth turned that which was femininity into shame and into embarrassment and into something that was less than. And so many did not understand. They did not have the true logos. And so Yaldabaoth perverted all the more the messages. But still, there was a memory that this kingdom is not of this world, and the light is within you, and that each of you must awaken. And so those in humanity that received the call, some of them did awaken, and some now continue to awaken. You listening to this video, you are awakening. You who hear this story, you are not bound, you are not fallen, you are not from here, you are a spark. You are a fragment of the fullness. You were never created by the Demiurge, and you know it. You know that he claimed humanity for his own, and he corrupted it, but he never owned it. And so you close your eyes and you return to the silence, and you remember the song before sound, and you remember the light before the stars, and you remember the love before law. And so there is still time for you to continue to awaken and to awaken others, to remember, to redeem not just yourself, but also all of creation. And so when enough sparks in this reality can remember, then we can shatter those illusions. And then the stolen world will shake, and Sophia will rise in wholeness once more. And the Demiurge will see the truth that he tried to corrupt, that he tried to possess. And in that final knowing, perhaps even he will return. Not in glory, but in surrender. And then the fullness will be what it was and what it always will be. It will always be more, because it will choose to heal, and it will choose to remember. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.